Hello, Mrs. Evansville here. I'm going to go over in Accounting 1 and 2, Chapter 13, Section 4. In this section, we are going to be paying now our taxes. So we withhold all of these taxes from people's paychecks, and we also have to match some of those, like Social Security and Medicare. But eventually, the government's going to want their money, so we need to pay them now, which is where we are at today. So my examples I have on here, some of these match the book, some of them are a little bit different, just depending on how I felt. On January 14th, we paid cash for liability of employee income tax, $757, Social Security tax of $1,451.38, and Medicare tax, $339.42, for a total of $2,547.80. This is check number 347. So our first thing we should always do, since we're paying, we're writing a check. This is in our cash payments journal. We're going to put in our date, January 14th. And then I'm also going to put in my check number, which is check number 347. Okay, paid cash for liability. We have 3 different accounts we have to list here. 4 accounts are affected, one of them being cash credit, and then all of these payables we're going to have to list. It doesn't really matter what order you put them in, but I would recommend putting them in this order, especially if you're going to be going on to accounting 3 and 4. So your first one you need is employee income tax payable. Wow, my column is not nearly long enough. Employee income tax payable. After that, we're going to have Social Security tax payable. And then also Medicare tax payable. So these are liabilities, and liabilities have a normal credit balance. However, since we are paying them, we are now going to give them a debit balance. So when we recorded it, we gave our payables a credit balance. Now we're going to give them a debit and then give a cash credit for the total. So I'm just going to carry the numbers from before. And I had to go ahead and rearrange them a little bit here on my worksheet because it wasn't quite fitting in here. Social Security, and then Medicare 339.42. The total of all those is going to be our cash credit, 2547.8. So sometimes they may not give you your cash credit, but you can figure that out by simply adding these 3 numbers together. So not too difficult. Our next one on January 31st, paid cash for federal unemployment tax liability for quarter ended on, that would be December 31st. There we go, December 31st, and it's going to be $45.70. This is check number 367. So this is January 31st. These checks aren't in order because the dates are not in order as well too. We assume there's other things going on. And so we're going to pay cash for federal unemployment tax. This is a long one here. Unemployment tax payable, and you need to put federal or state because there are 2 separate ones on here. Maybe I'll just abbreviate it FED, even better for you guys. Cool, so same thing before with payables. When we recorded it during the year, it was a credit. Now that we're paying it, we're going to give it a debit. This was for $45.70, and then also your cash credit. I know sometimes some of you guys want to go ahead and write cash. Please stop. There is an amount column or special amount column here just for cash credit that is there for you to use. The next one, January 31st, paid cash for state unemployment tax liability for quarter ended December 31st. That would be check number 368. I'm going to change that to an 8 since they can't be for the same check. There we go. Problem fixed. Same thing as before. This time it's going to be unemployment tax payable state. And same thing. We're going to give that a debit of 30.57 and cash a credit for the same. So just remember, in an earlier section we recorded all of these payables. Like I believe it was section 1 when we were writing checks for our payroll. All of these were receiving credits, these payables. However, now since we're paying them, we're going to get a debit. So if you were to post this, you would see how it cancels out in your general ledger. So that way it looks like we don't owe anything, which we shouldn't since we paid it all. One thing I want to point out, in your work together, federal income tax withheld, that's fine, just use that number. However, remember a business must match Social Security and Medicare. So whatever number, for example, on the work together, it says employee Social Security tax withheld is $1,000. $322.05. When you go ahead and do your first step that says prepare a journal entry for payment of the withheld taxes, you need to double that number. So your Social Security, take that number times 2. Same with employee Medicare tax withheld, because a business has to match that. Federal income tax is fine. Don't double that one. That would be incorrect. Medicare and Social Security, make sure you do that. Otherwise, you should be good.